All right. Hello. We have Alejandra and Kees. Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know. It's technically Latin, so you can pronounce it any way you'd like. Nobody would really know. Kies.
I like Kies.
Go for it.
Yeah. I took Latin in high school. I should know how to pronounce that, but clearly I forgot. Just like chemistry.
Isn't Latin like a dead language? Doesn't technically no one know how to pronounce it?
Well, there's Church Latin and there's Vulgar Latin, so nobody knows how to speak Vulgar Latin. Anyway,
I gotcha.
Diverging. So, welcome back to the second Botched report. I'm Emily, and I'm here with two of our wonderful players. We're going to be talking about the latest episode, which is episode 11. All right. A lot of stuff happens, so there's a lot to kind of hash out with all these characters and battle scenes. And let's just start by kind of recapping from your character's perspective generally what happened. Big thing we're going to be talking about is the death of the character Jaeger today. So let's kind of start with that. It'll come up, and then we'll talk about some other things as well. So who would like to take?
You know, you saw him before. Why don't you start, Mickey?
I saw him before.
You did. There was a whole. Witness? You had a whole scene. You saw him before. So why don't you start?
Yeah. So I think Kies is a friendly guy at heart. He may say the wrong things like
all of the time.
95% of the time.
All of the time.
No, like 95. But he's a good guy at heart. At heart, he is good and wants people to be friends. So like Jaeger kind of going off on his own, having this, kind of breakdown of he literally met someone of his kind, one of his kind. And for like basically the first time in his life, because his life is 12 days old at this point, and he has like this memory loss and he sees it, and the party really fucks it up big time. And this robot Warforged goes away, and I can see that like Jaeger is like, I don't know how to process this. He goes off on his own. I don't want that. Like, one, from a player perspective, you don't really want to split the party, and two, like I want him to be like, look, like, no, you are part of this group. We didn't mean to F it up, and we did. Sorry, come be with us. And then he was very mean to Kies, and Kies didn't appreciate that, and Kies is not gonna just sit there and be like taking insults. He's like, I don't gotta deal with this, and leaves. But then again, at the heart of it, he wants Jaeger to be a part. So when it comes down to that actual fight of Jaeger's killing us, which Kies conveniently wasn't there for most of it.
Conveniently.
Well, like it wasn't his fault he wasn't there. He was, he did what the party asked him to do, and that just had him end up inside, and the fight happened outside. And so when he comes out, he processes everything. Kies is a mask of many faces, if you will.
I hate that. I hate that reference. I hate you for that.
That's the name of the ability. It's literally what it's called. He has seen Jaeger go red eye murder Jaeger before, and he knows that's not who Jaeger truly is. So he changes to look like normal Jaeger and goes up and tries to talk to Jaeger, saying like, hey, like, look at me. This is who you really are. You are not a person that kills your friends, kills humans. These are your friends. They're your friends. Why are you going to kill them? Sadly, Jaeger didn't get a chance to really respond to that, Aliandra.
Yeah, I'll take off from there if you want. So Aliandra felt horrible for the whole thing, for the whole fight scene with Horace in the first place, because she felt like identifying that he existed there is what caused the problems of the party. As you can tell, we have a very botched sense of things where we'll be like, oh, shadowy figure, let's all run after it. And Aliandra noted that and was like, maybe if I would have just skulked after this guy by myself, something cool, like something else might have happened. So she felt terrible about that. And then when she heard his last thoughts of I need to find Perpetil, she got overly concerned because here's Jaeger, who's already upset enough. But now we may have a risk of Perpetil, who we all came to Stormhaven to save. So she just took off. She didn't, with thoughts of all of the shadowy, like of what had just happened with Horace running through her head, she was like, nope, I am not risking this. My party is not going to go kill a Warforged that we don't know if it's actually got bad intentions. So she took off. She wanted to run, and explaining was not on her thoughts. She was already having not an awesome time. And so getting back to the tavern and finding out that Perpetil wasn't there, she went into overprotective mom mode, even though she didn't really, like, Perpetil didn't need it. She had no close relationship to Perpetil, but Aliandra cares very deeply about all of her friends. And so at any risk of Perpetil getting hurt, it would hurt Costo. And so she analyzes that as this is bad. So she was very nervous and she skulked around, hung out outside with Cypher, waiting for him to come back. And and she had the best of intentions with Horace because she was like, okay, well, maybe Horace knows, or maybe they know each other and Horace just wants to say goodbye before they leave the city. Honestly, she was like, it's probably nothing. There's probably no assassination on his mind. It's probably just a matter of, let's do this. And so when he came back and he didn't recognize the situation, Aliandra panicked because if you don't know that somebody is looking for you, to her, that's not a good sign. And so the overprotective measures that she took, I'm going to stand between him, I'm going to be right next to him the whole time before he gets on that horse because nobody in the world is going to hurt you if I'm beside you. That is not the typical sorceress standpoint, but that is the Disney princess protective mother that is Aliandra. So the dexterity save to tackle him and the casting shield and literally balling around him. In her mind, I just want it to be very clear that she wasn't protecting Perpetil at this point. She was protecting Costo. And that's what mattered to her because Perpetil, as much as he's a person, she has no connection to him. And so, but Costo does. And she just wanted to make sure that her friends don't feel any pain. And when she realized that the person who knocked Costo unconscious, which she saw when she stood up, shot at Perpetil, who in turn that would also hurt Costo, and was now essentially trying to kill her as she had already been shot by him. When she saw that it was Jaeger, she snapped. She has no real... The thing with Aliandra is she literally grew up in a tree. She has no real concept of loss at this point. She's very sheltered in that mindset. So when she stood up and saw that her friend, who she has put so much effort into trying to support and be there for, like trying to make sure that he feels new again because he's only been awake for 12 days. So she's trying to clean the green and copper off of him and making sure he feels protected and welcome in the party, constantly engaging with him, trying to give him something to connect with because everybody knew what a joke was except for him. So she became the joke god for him, right? When she found out that that was who, I mean, for lack of better term, oh no, my internet. Hang on. Just gonna wait for it to catch back up. There we go. When she found out that, for lack of better term, that he shot her in the back instead of stabbed her in the back, she lost it. She did. And at that point, he nearly killed Alejandra. It was very, very close. And she wasn't even fighting for herself at that point. Costa was on the ground. Alejandra was almost dead. Kias was right in front of Jaeger. Leonard was inside with his family, who has a small child. Leonard was inside with his family and a small child. Cypher was up there dealing with Horus. All of her friends were around her. And in her head, if she dies here, all of her friends might. And that's not something that she could deal with. So within her rage and her uncontrolled emotional state at that time, unfortunately, Jaeger lost his life. And personally, Braylon is struggling with it. I've never killed another player before, but I understand that those were character choices that would have been made because he wanted to fit in, and unfortunately, none of us were Warforged to fit in with. But Alejandra is also struggling with it because she literally has the character flaw. She takes care of all of her friends like a newborn puppy, and she had to kill one of them. And so as much as she's always going to be a happy, bubbly person, because that's really all she knows, now she has to struggle with this other side of her that's not going to be that fun.
And I was watching Jaeger's kind of character introduction video, and it stood out to me that at one point he said that Alejandra knows Jaeger as much as Jaeger knows Jaeger. So was that still accurate at this point in the story? And did that make it kind of even harder for this all to go down?
I think that for Alejandra, she never recognizes that, oh, well, Kias has asked her to help him with this to learn more about himself, so I would know as much as Kias about this topic about himself, right? Because I've gone into his head just like I did with Jaeger. Sorry, I'm using that as an example, Mickey. But I've gone into his head like I did with Jaeger. Alejandra never recognizes that as, oh, I know you just like you know yourself. She recognizes it as somebody very close to me needs my help. And so it was really hard for her because she knew what he was struggling with, the dark thoughts, because she'd seen them herself and she knew they were scary. But she genuinely thought that she was helping him get past those. And another really important thing, like I said, she wasn't herself. So the aggression that you saw when she blatantly stabbed him in the eye was because that's how I've decided to play Alejandra from this time that I built her. There was going to be happy and there was going to be angry and there was going to be no in between. And so the anger that came out there was minimal in comparison to the anger that came out when she found out that Horus had lied to Jaeger. And that was, yeah. So like when it comes to Alejandra knowing Jaeger almost as much, it would definitely hurt her if she were to recognize that. I think that I hadn't thought of that myself up to this point, and now it hurts more. But it's
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Wait, how did you describe Alejandra again? Disney princess mother?
Yeah, that's so like no, like so Disney princess / mother,
like Snow White with all of her
so like Disney, yeah, like Snow White. That's a perfect example where she like literally grew up so sheltered that she's so sweet and so nice, but kind of like a mother bear where it's kind of like you fuck with her friends and she's going to take you down if she has to. And it's just really crappy that the first time that I actually got to play through that anger, it was towards another player. That sucks.
Are we just the seven dwarfs to you?
I mean, Tullen's definitely one of them.
Yeah, true.
Happy, sleepy, grumpy. Yeah. I'm sure there's somebody who fits each of those.
I feel like Tullen would be all of the seven dwarves because we haven't seen all of his mood swings yet, but I feel like we're going to get there.
One day.
One day.
So, on that topic, did either of you see this coming at all? This kind of betrayal? Was it being hinted at? Was it just a total shock to the whole party?
I mean, I'll jump in because I didn't see Alejandra being a murder queen coming at all. I know you meant Jaeger.
Thanks. Thank you. That makes this all so easy for me.
I just messing with you. But no. I think Jaeger, we had seen that, like, you know, he described it before, the kind of like light in his eye switches to red. We've seen that before. We know that's not something he wants to do. So the fact that it kind of switched, and I'm not going to say so easily, like we technically know he rolled a die to figure out if he was going to murder the party or not. So the dice made it switch. So like, I know it's not an easy switch for his character to make, to be like, and now I kill humans, because that is like very against his moral code. But, you know, clearly in the building of that character, he had, you know, had this switch that can click on. I didn't think it would be us, you know, like, oh, he's, you know, not gonna kill other human, you know, NPCs that may be trying to kill us. He's going to be very apprehensive to do that. So the fact that it switched and now he's killing us, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So no, I did not expect it.
And I think with a character like that, you know, that's a story element that you kind of expect to have happen, although maybe not the way that it ended up. So I just wanted to really quickly say I have some announcements to make.
The announcements. We totally skipped over that.
Totally skipped over. I was too excited to talk about the story.
Wait,
so I'm going to do those now.
Can I try to do them all from memory? I know you have the notes.
Oh, no.
You want to
sure, Josh is going to love this. All right. So for every 5 subs, we're giving away a set of dice. Like, that's like all the dice, not just like one dice or die, whatever. The singular, no, it's like all of them, like a D20, a D12, D8, D10, 6, 4. You get all of them. The percentile die, they're all in there. And if you're already a sub and you're like, what? How do I get in on this? And you donate 5 subs, you'll get a set of dice, and one of those 5 subs will get a set of dice. So amazing right there. Also, make sure you're in the Discord. Join the Discord. We can put the link in the Twitch chat. My Twitch chat's over here. That's why I'm pointing this way. Yeah, all right, I'm forgetting some. All
right,
take it away.
Hang on, I got one. Jake 2, aka Tullen, is doing his one shot in August. So we will be drawing those next Thursday, not tonight.
No, this Sunday. This Sunday.
We will be drawing them on Sunday, right? And the one shot is Thursday. That's what it is, right? It's the first Thursday of every month. Yeah. So we will be also drawing for those from the sub list as well. So make sure you get your subs in soon. And gifted subs, I do believe, count for that. So if you want to be able to play a one shot with your friends, gift them some subs so that way they can also get in on the fun.
Fantastic. Right. You guys are making my job so easy here. So great. That was pretty much all the announcements. This is the last stream for the July special. That was another thing. So, you know, get the subs in, gift the subs. Make sure to get your subs in before Sunday to make sure that you are entered in a chance to play in that one shot. Okay, so that's out of the way. Let's go back to the story. Let's start kind of at the beginning of this episode, away from the trauma of the latter half. So we went to a brothel for the first time. I'm assuming it was a time in a brothel for many of the characters. I'm going to let each of you take that question. Was it your first time? How did you feel about it? Would you want to go back?
I can make this short and sweet. Alejandro thought a brothel was somewhere to go make friends. Go ahead, Kiaz. Now it's your turn.
So you're saying Alejandra had been to lots of brothels before?
She had never been to a brothel. She literally blew up out of a snail shell, 2 weeks ago?
Well, you weren't living in the snail shell. Come on.
How you know?
You said
you only know what Alejandra just told you.
The snail shell in the tree?
Yeah, in the tree. You were in a tree. I know that now.
Yeah, but maybe I'm lying.
I'm a metagame the hell out of that. Be like, oh, what's it like growing up in a tree? You'd be like, you don't know that.
A whole
Okay, but
episode where Alejandra offers.
Just so we're aware, though, the players do know that because that was literally one of the first conversations they had with her. So, way to go on not remembering what of your friends.
I don't have my notes pulled up. I take notes like a good D&D player. I take notes. It's probably in my notes.
Anyways, go ahead and talk about your brothel because it was your brothel.
The real question is, would Kies remember that you told him you grew up in a tree?
Would Kies remember anything that didn't have to do with him?
See, that's the question.
See, there you go. I got you.
That's the real question. So that's actually a complicated question, I think, based a little bit on Kies's backstory. So I'm not going to answer as Kies. I will answer as Mickey. So from my perspective, yes, Kies has 100% been to a brothel before. The exorbitant costs were no issue for him to pay. Also, from a player's perspective, I think making the brothel extremely expensive was really great on Josh's part, so he didn't have to ERP with some dudes on stream. Nobody wants that. But also as a player, I like putting people into awkward situations like that. And I feel like that's something Kies would do. He would put people in awkward situations. Yeah.
Very, very good at that. Very good at that.
So yes, Kies 100% knew what a brothel was. I don't think he realized like the cost discrepancy. Also, if the party wasn't around, he probably would have used his Mask of Many Faces. I know you love that ability name.
I love the ability name.
Yeah.
I just hate it when you reference it as a joke.
I know. He probably would have used that to get some services for free. Because that's kind of how he lives his entire life.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean... I know none of you were there except for Josh for his kind of, session 0.5, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much Kies's like go-to move for getting through life. So I always think it's funny when the players ask about like his backstory and like, oh, well, why were you in this town and why were you here? And it's like, well, he changed into a person that was going to that place, so he kind of had to go to that place, but then he changed into another person because he was trying to get to that like thing that he actually wanted, and now he ended up on a boat, so now he's across the continent and somehow ended up in Pudmit, very crappy town that he was not happy he ended up in.
And now he's using his Mask of Many Faces to try and make somebody not kill us. Fun.
Hey, tried.
You did try. It tried.
So, do you think Kies could have charmed the prices of the brothel lower if he wanted to? Did he not try simply because that was a player decision, or because you guys just didn't want to draw out that scene, or was that a personal choice from Kies? So
Kies doesn't like to use like the Mask of Many Faces ability, the disguise self, in front of other people, and it ended up being very hard to do in how like that brothel scenario was described. I'm sure if I wanted to draw out the scene, I could be like, oh, I go to the bathroom or something. I mean, I don't know, like make Josh make up some medieval bath or fantasy bathrooms. Like, does it have a bidet? I really like to think D&D toilets have a bidet. They just should.
Josh is like cringing on how to put plumbing into this world.
Yeah, you got to work plumbing into it somehow.
I'm picturing the cringe on his face.
It's fantasy. You can do whatever you want. It's his world. We just live in it or play in it. But yeah, I think if I, as a player, if I had wanted to draw it out, I probably could have done that. But like, there was no need. Like that kind of served its purpose and establishing the expensive prices. It's funny. I keep two sets of notes. One of them is player notes. One of them is Kies, like what he would write down. And one of the things I wrote down for him is Kias wants to save, or I didn't write it Kias, but he wrote, I want to save up 5,000 gold to go back to the Puckering Tulip to experience Roxanne.
Of course
so
he did.
But that's what Kias would write down. Like that's the shit that motivates him, you know? The finest things, even if that's the finest of ladies of the night.
One more question for you, Kias. You got sucker punched at one point. How did that feel? What was
I feel
the context around that?
I feel like I've been sucker punched a couple times, or at least like.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's understandable. Kias, Kias is blunt, a little rude. I know his like upbringing, and that's kind of why I know what motivates him. So like I know why he does these things, and like it's so funny because as a player or like as a person, I'm like, oh man, I really don't want to, like I don't want to do this to Braylon. Like Braylon is so nice, like she's such a great person, but I'm really gonna fuck with her character right now because that's what Kias would do. And yeah, it's so I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, whatever, it's what Kias would do. So I kind of, especially as a player, I definitely recognize like Kias 100% deserves to get punched in the face for like, messing with Leonard's family, messing with Alejandра's, I don't know, not love life. That is so the wrong word.
Yeah, that is 100%
yeah. Like that's
messing with Alejandro's morals. How about that?
Morals, yeah, that's so much better. Yes, messing with Alejandro's morals. He deserves to get punched in the face, and I think again because I swear deep down he's a good guy. Like he does not lie to the party. Like he doesn't.
That's not true. You lied once. I busted you on it.
I know. He has literally lied once. So it's like it's such a thing because I think deep down he knows he probably deserved to get punched in the face, and he's like learning like, oh, I shouldn't be an ass to everyone. Like,
it's
character development.
Yeah, there you
go.
Like I'd like to think that by the end of this campaign, he's not a total ass. Like he'll still be like always like somewhat of an ass. Like that's kind of who he is, but like
he'll know how to show the soft side a bit better.
Well, like that's part of like he went and got Alejandra those flowers. That was probably what, 3 episodes now ago.
I don't think you ever gave them to Alejandra.
No.
Confident
He 100% gave them to me.
Oh, no, you did because you gave them to me in front of Lucas. You're right.
Oh, yeah, I did it in front of Lucas. Not on purpose, but like...
I do recall this.
That was in his mind. He was like, oh, I did something bad to her, and she's my friend. I should do something nice to make it up to her. And she wears these like flowers in her hair. So I'm like, oh, I should get her new hair flowers. And like, that is just his line of thinking. Like, oh, wait, I was an ass and I'm not supposed to be an ass. But that's very small doses. That's one time he's done something nice in a long history of not nice things.
See, but I disagree with that because Kia's was in a way, I guess maybe not class it as nice, but it was character development in my mind, because when you came to Alejandra for help with that spell, or when Kias did, that meant so much to Alejandra. That meant more than flowers, because she's in her mind, oh my gosh, he trusts me enough to help him with this. I'm really excited about this. That was also another very nice thing that Kias probably didn't even know he didn't do it intentionally as a nice thought, right? But to her, it was very meaningful.
See, because to him, he's just trying to get something out of you.
Yeah, like, but to Alejandra, she's just a nice like, thing, I'm okay being a doormat. I'll definitely help you with
impact over intent, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You can go both ways.
Exactly.
Anyway, okay, so that's going to be a nice ongoing redemption arc, I guess. I have a couple of questions about Leonard. They're in here.
Oh, yay.
I don't know if these questions are because
Leonard wrote them.
yeah, I mean, probably because. Yeah.
Shockingly.
Shocking.
Do you think Leonard has women waiting for him in every city?
Absolutely not. I think that Annette might actually be a fishing net in Portgard.
Wait.
Alejandra believes him wholeheartedly.
No.
But Braylon doesn't.
Hold
Jake
on.
would have some more interesting arc to it than just there's a girl somewhere in the world and I don't want to tell you about it. There's gonna be some really awesome twist on it, or I'm just blowing smoke up his ass right now and he's gonna be really disappointed.
I am still of the ilk that Leonard is secretly a serial killer.
This is also fair. See, Annette, secretly a trap in the woods, also works.
He is the one in the party that purposely got manacles. He went and bought a net, like a net, not a net.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about the fact that he bought a net. Now he's just like, he just reached in his pocket that second and was like, right, I have a net. It's a net. That's her name.
Yeah, like the reason he doesn't have a girl out there for him is because he murdered her because he's a serial killer, and like no one's that nice. He's way too nice. Like,
what if he bought the net to remind him of Annette?
oh my
That's
gosh.
also depressing.
It's really depressing.
Wow.
Leonard, we're only ripping on you for putting your questions about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude. You deserve this wholeheartedly.
No, I do have one more where you have the chance to rip into him more if you'd like to. He started combat in possibly a stupid mistake kind of way. Was he justified or not? And how does your player versus character view differ on that?
So player-wise, player and character-wise, both me and Alejandra have made the same mistake. Think about back to the session where Alejandra cast message on the Myconids and pissed them off. Like, I can understand where he's coming from. I also know, though, that Alejandra would never cast Fairy Fire because that's a spell that does damage. Is it not a spell? It does damage.
It doesn't do damage, but it
gives you advantage. That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking of. So yeah, like I also know that she would also never cast that. Plus, the way he's described it, he's literally throwing chocolate sprinkles at people. And I feel like in no sense is throwing chocolate. Even in IRL, if somebody walked up and threw chocolate sprinkles at me, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? Like, are you okay? Like, I would literally, like, glitter bomb would be worse. I am glad that it's chocolate sprinkles. It would be far worse. Mickey, what do you think?
I just like to think that the reason everyone gets advantage when he casts Fairy Fire is because people are getting like sprinkles in their eye and they're like, oh God, what the hell, man? Like, did you throw sprinkles in my eye?
I like to think that we get advantage because we're not in the winter time, which means that that's going to impact with their skin and it's going to immediately start melting and they're going to be like, ew, I'm sticky. Ew.
Sticky.
And they're gonna be so disgusted because they're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm sticky. That's why we get advantage, because they're not paying attention. They're trying to get chocolate off of them.
So player and character do not think Leonard's at fault at all. I mean, yes, realistically, he started that combat. That Fairy Fire is very much an offensive spell. Like, if no matter how you look at it, even in the pure sense of it puts a glow around you, if somebody just starts saying like ooga booga and then you start glowing, you're gonna be like, what the hell are you doing to me, man? Like, this is not cool. So yeah, it's offensive spell, but no fault to Leonard.
Plus his character.
Yeah.
Also,
that's true.
Player standpoint from this point, I wish we killed Horus right then and there.
Yeah.
I wish we killed Horus right then and there. But that's fine. I think the torture scene was also fun.
All right. I have a question. Is it sprinkles or jimmies?
I am Canadian. What is a jimmy?
It's like a northeastern thing. I think northeast they call them jimmies.
Yeah, I think they're the exact
I'm gonna go with sprinkles.
Same thing.
I feel like I'm gonna go with sprinkles because I know what that is. Leonard, can you sound off in the Twitch chat, please? Because I would like to not have to look up a new word.
Sprinkles versus jimmies.
Okay, if you Google jimmies,
You're just gonna pop up with a bunch of Jim faces of somebody named Jimmy.
No, like JIMMIES.
It is a thing. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you look it up, it brings up, donuts.
Covered
like
in
it.
sprinkles.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
That's our next fire dome. Jimmy's versus sprinkles.
Hey, I'm just saying, but I wasn't allowed to play a loaf of bread for the fire dome.
Hold on.
I tried.
Hold on. Yes, you are. As the owner and creator of the Fire Dome, you can play whatever you want. If you want to be a loaf of bread, you can be a loaf of bread.
All right. Let's see who ends up toast in the Fire Dome.
Oh.
You're welcome. Thank you for that.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Emily.
so I think we got past kind of the fluffy part of the story. Let's go to our next part. The battle seemed a bit messy fighting the Warforged. What do you think the party can do within character to tighten things up?
The initial fight I'm taking this as?
Yes, I think we're going in chronological order.
I think so. Maybe don't start fights with people that we don't know if we need to start fights with would be a good way to tighten it up.
Good rule. Yeah.
Another one, and I'm just gonna put this out there, but if Alejandra teleports you to a roof, maybe don't fall off the roof. Maybe that's another good tip there. No shots at Costo, but shots at Costo.
Yeah. We have established in canon that Costo is very and overweight. So maybe he just, the roof couldn't support him.
We did not establish that Costo is fat and overweight. Costo is whoever Costo wants to be.
I know.
I would like to point that out. Second off, Costo is just really good at getting stuck at falling, if you remember the whole.
Yeah.
He's just very good at getting stuck at falling.
No Costo shaming.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's every episode, it's Costo gets shamed, and then there's like 3-ish people that get shamed other than him. So
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I don't know what we can do in character to get better at fighting. Like,
I don't know either.
we always make some, like, if you looked at the party from like a metagaming like standpoint overhead, you're like, oh yeah, we have, good front line and back line and support, and it all makes sense, and it never coordinates that way. I think
Oh, keep going. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
maybe once, like at the farmhouse, I think we, like, our frontline people went in, our backline people did stuff from the backline. It was like very coordinated, and we steamrolled that fight. Everything else has been like, I'm going over here and I'm here and I'm going to start a fight out of nowhere because I'm casting fairy fire on this person,
I think that's a very common problem to have with any D&D group. No matter how good the players are, there's always going to be, and you guys are only on your 11th session in this campaign, right? So
I think 13. We're up to 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is 13. And see, I think that part of the problem solving for our fights going the way they are is A, Josh throws away the red dice, or Jackie steals them. I'm not opposed to either of them. Just get rid of them. Thank you. Second off, is kind of what happened last session while Costa was taking a nap and Tullen was hiding in a tree. Where Cypher, Kias, Leonard, and Alejandra got to sit around the fire and kind of just talk stuff out. And I mean, it wasn't exactly a discussion, but Cypher looked at Alejandra and said, stop body blocking for people. Just stop doing that. And she said no. And the reason that I say that that's significant is because I think with D&D, people get it stuck in their head that a sorcerer is a backline fighter and that's it. And a warlock is a backline, or a barbarian is a backline fighter, or a frontline fighter, and that's it. And it doesn't always go with people's character traits. I'm going to be honest with you. Alejandra's not a tank. Do not get me wrong. She doesn't exactly want to be getting hit. But the only time she jumps to the front line is when Costo goes down, Cypher goes down, anybody goes down, because she wants to make sure that she's protecting them. Is it the smartest thing in the world to do? Absolutely not. But is it who she is as a character? Yes. So I think that Cypher saying, hey, stop jumping to the front line, and Alejandra saying no is an opening to that conversation that needs to be had amongst the characters, where they say, okay, we keep getting our asses handed to us in battle. So what can we do to try and solve that and just have like a really great conversation regarding our placements as in a fight. Who wants to be the back? Who wants to be the front? Especially when we only technically have one healer, and that healer likes to be a bear, which I'm not shaming him for completely.
Wow.
Little bit of shaming, but
completely disregarding Leonard, who has done most of the healing.
Yes, Leonard has done most of the healing, but Leonard gets tapped out quickly with that. Leonard does get tapped out quickly with that. So Leonard's done lots with the healing, and do not get me wrong, I'm not discounting him on that. He's super useful, but he gets tapped out quicker than our bear healer. So it's a conversation that I think needs to be had amongst the players, but getting all of the players to sit down for 5 minutes and not scream at each other up to this point has been kind of hard. So we'll see.
See, I think there should always be flaws in combat. One, the DM is going to try to throw things at you to throw you off. It's just like you walk up and there's a big open field with one guy standing in it and you have a whole round to position how you want. And like, no, that's never going to happen. Like ever.
I disagree. I think it is going to happen, but then it's going to be like, and then the guy comes out of polymorph and is really an ancient silver dragon.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
There's always going to be something, some like, hey, curveball. But I think it's great. It's good role playing to play those flaws into combat. Like Alejandra, or Braylon plays Alejandra that way beautifully. Because I always think like one of the best things, and like maybe even the first thing you should do when making a character is like, what are their flaws? Like, what are they bad at? What are they going to make this decision that is a wrong decision to make from a metagaming standpoint, but is what they would do. And I think that's great. And those flaws shouldn't stop when combat starts. They should continue on. And combat's going to be flawed. It's not going to be perfect. And we just got to, hope for the best when we go through it.
I literally wasted advantage on initiative last session because for some reason the dice were like, hey, fuck you, you're going to roll 2 nat 1s with advantage. It happened. Legitimately, it happened. And it sucked. It genuinely sucked. But at the same time, it's flaws. That's the funny thing is the dice seem to always know what's going to make sense because Alejandra had just stood up from protecting Perpetual. She needed to gather her head and figure out what she was going to do. And it gave, this sucks to say, and I'm going to say it, it gave Alejandra more of a reason to be angry at Jaeger. It did. I don't know if Alejandra would have killed Jaeger had he not done 23 damage to her within a split second. She was hurt. There was a good chance that he was still gonna die, but it gave, for Alejandra, it gave her a healthy amount of justification. So that flaw kind of really amped up that battle. And I think, like Mickey said, focusing on character flaws is how you RP the character. That's the best way to RP them.
You know what I feel like really bad about all of the fighting recently? Kias has used 0 spell slots and could have gotten all of his spell slots back twice.
It's almost like you're a warlock. Oh my god, no.
But like, because like he's used the disguise self, which doesn't cost him a spell slot. We've needed healing. He doesn't have any healing. Like that's not who he is. So yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad that he's just been sitting on these spell slots and like Leonard.
You've never played a warlock?
Well,
that's literally what warlocks do.
Well, no. I feel like as a warlock, you normally have none. You're like, oh, I've used my 2 spells and now I'm tapped for the next however long till I can get a short rest. But yeah, I've had 2 spell slots, a short rest. I didn't use them. Got the short rest, so I didn't need it. Didn't use them during that time. Got another short rest. It's like, oh, great.
And like for me, So this is I think a really important topic to go over. I'm sorry, Emily, we're like hijacking it from you.
No, I love it.
But this is a really important topic that has been brought up a couple times to me, is Kia's is playing the typical Magic user backline person. Or Mickey's playing the typical backline person, right? The person who is staying back, hiding behind the tree, taking a shot, going back, making sure that they are doing big damage, but keeping themselves safe. And Alejandra, who is debatably a stronger Magic user, that's not a shot at Kia's, it's because I have more spell slots. That's all I'm saying. Is jumping straight, is jumping straight in and is like, no, stop touching my friends. Like that comparison is a really cool part of botched rolls. And I like Mickey feeling guilty about the fact that he hasn't used his spell slots, but at the same time, it gives that little bit of air to that comparison of he's staying back and he's taking his long shots. Yes, he can cast Shatter, right? He could cast Shatter. He could cast Shatter on the whole area and cause an AoE effect, but he is being the sniper from the backlines like we need, like a backliner. And then Alejandra's hopping to the front because somebody went down again and she's saying shield, and that's what she's using her spell slots on. So there's the support role for the spellcaster that really shouldn't be doing that, but she is. And then there's the damage comparison, which is a really, really cool thing about botched rolls. And I honestly, that's one of my favorite things about being part of this campaign, is as much as me and Mickey make fun of each other, I love how opposite Kia's and Alejandra are, but how well they play off each other for the campaign.
I was going to ask.
We didn't hear the first part.
No, you're good.
Now you're not. Now you're good. We just didn't hear the first part.
The last time that I did the first botch report, it was just after episode 9. And we did talk a bit about, were there any points where you felt like the telemetry, the synergy of the characters, working in tandem came together and created a really, really cool effect, or a really effective action. Were there any points within this last episode, or even just since then, where that's happened and kind of made up for any other discrepancies?
I just like the SAT word telemetry there. Like that.
I don't know. It just came to mind.
I don't have to Google that to figure out what that means. Not at all. It's fine. No, I'm kidding.
Come on.
Mickey, you go first.
I don't even know if that was the correct word. People are watching this.
Sounds like a good word.
Just dropping 4-syllable words.
Yeah, it's always good when you can drop those words. Oh man, I'm trying to think if there's anything that's been like really good party synergy. I mean, I think
you shared your wine with Leonard.
I mean, we did share wine. Alejandra had none because she's mean.
She's pretty much a nun. It's fine.
But I think Alejandra has used that Eladrin elf where she can like teleport someone else. She's used that like a couple times, and that's just such an amazing ability to be able to do. I think that's like the only thing Eladrin elves get is, hey, you get this one thing, but it's really effective. So like, that's awesome. She's used that very successfully, I think 2 or 3 times now. I think 3.
If Costa wouldn't have been stubborn and let her teleport him out of the hole, she would have used it for the hole. If I put Costa on a roof that he then fell out of, she saved Perpetil. I think I dropped Tullen on somebody's head at one point. And I've moved Costa ahead. So yeah, I've used it a couple times.
Yeah. I think that's really effective. I think the party literally doing everything they could to protect Perpetil. This is pre him getting shot, but trying to like throw off the scent. Like we knew these Justicar were coming for him. We didn't know Jaeger was going to shoot him at this point. And they had Kies being Perpetil, trying to like send these false scents like, oh, he's going west or he's going south, and riding around on a cart as him, things like that. I think that was like some good party telemetry. Sure.
Also, I googled it. I don't think that's the right word.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
Right definition, but it's fine. It's fine. It's a nice word. I like it. That's the new canonic definition. That's now a botched word. So congratulations.
Yeah. Or like soliloquy.
I was thinking of thoughts lining up.
Yeah. Synergy.
Don't worry
it was
about
good party synergy.
I like it. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's my new definition for it.
Also, I think the two minor illusions on the cart, because like one minor illusion isn't big enough to hide a whole cart, but two, cart of dead bodies.
Stackable illusions.
Two works perfect. It's like, okay, you do this half, I do this half. Now the whole cart's covered, and we're just gonna mosey on.
I think that's some really good synergy from that fight. It's so hard. I like how Mickey said everybody came together to protect Perpetil. I like that when Alejandra, who is a way too dexterous sorceress, managed to get Perpetil to the ground, she wasn't the only one defending him. Cypher stepped in front of her. I liked that symmetry. I loved Costo's personal symmetry with himself of him just saying yeet with the blink dagger and yanking dagger out that window. I loved that too. That was a lot of fun. I loved that. That was a lot of fun. I also think that the synergy between characters and the NPCs is also important. I understand that Kies has a hard time respecting people. I'm not shaming you for that. It's part of his character. So, but he is really good at, once it's been outlined how to respect somebody, he's really good at going in and fixing that. So he was always respectful to Leonard's parents. It was Lucas having a crush on Alejandra that he had the non-respectful moment for, which is fine because he, like you said, he saw that was a problem and he brought that out. So I like the synergy that goes on with the party between NPCs. I also love the synergy between Costo and Tullen to try and make Kies get stuck in a trap. That was kind of a good one. I also loved that one. But I'm going to reference it again. I think my favorite synergy, as horrible as this sounds, probably came from the group after the fight when they put Horus on that tree and tortured the guy. I was about to say poor guy. He was not a poor guy. I'm sorry, Josh. You created a hell of an NPC. But Alejandra was mad. And everybody else knew that she was mad, and they stayed calm enough. I mean, Cypher was like, hey, I see you having kneecap. Not anymore. Like, I get that. But he stayed calm, cool, and collected. And there was this amount of symmetry where we could kind of talk things out as much as Leonard didn't want it to happen. But Alejandra was able to say, I'm in his head and he's going to kill your family, and I'm not letting that happen. So I know you don't want to see this, but turn around. You know, like it's such a crappy situation to be in as a group, but being in that situation helped them get a bit closer because Leonard's now recognizing Alejandra's just doing it to protect his family. Kies is now understanding that should he piss her off again, Alejandra does have a dark side. Cypher is out here making sure everybody's staying safe and just enjoying himself popping kneecaps off. There was a good group effort with that, and it resulted in a beautiful campfire situation. Everybody came together to try and drive the cart. That was another beautiful moment of synergy, like he had said, but driving the cart was a whole other battle. The minor illusion to cover the cart was the easy part. That was the easy part. And then there was everybody trying to talk it out so people could get rest and not have that level of exhaustion. That was another really good moment. All in all, last session, I think, was even though we were down 2 players and one of them died, even though it was only a small portion of us, I think that there was so much group bonding between the characters and honestly the players that it was a really good thing.
Fantastic. Now, talking about that, do you think that the party is learning better to have less split time moments? Because I know Jake pointed out in his kind of script for me here that there have been lots of those recently. Cypher doing things on his own, Alejandra sometimes going off on her own. Do you think that the party is kind of just naturally going towards working together more?
Curious what let Cypher and Alejandra do what. The only time Alejandra's ever run off was that last session.
Okay.
That's, I guess, like, she went and washed all the bird crap off Jaeger at one point, but Jaeger was also there for that. And I don't know what Cypher's done on his own. I mean, Costo is the whole reason that we were still in Stormhaven. So, like we work together. What?
Leonard's family.
Leonard would have ditched his family.
Oh, I know he would, but
Leonard did not want to be with his family. Let's be real here. But like, there's as a group, I think we work together fairly well. We don't have. Some of us talk a lot. Some of us talk a whole lot. That's just who they are, 100% of the time. But I think that we do a pretty good job trying not to overshadow each other, trying to get along and make that. The characters have only really known each other for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So where are we? Tullen has all the notes and he decided to not be here. So like he knows where we're at. He's got the calendar. But like, I think we're getting to work towards a very large group effort. But like I said, I think a big portion of that is going to be having that conversation, like where we talk about battle strategies and everything. But what do you think, Mickey?
Yeah, I think the fireside chat, if you will, with FDR went very well. Wait, I got the right Roosevelt for the fireside chats, right?
Again, I'm Canadian. I don't know the Roosevelts. Thank you.
World War II versus who was Teddy Roosevelt?
Twitch chat. Which Roosevelt did the fireside chats? This is a question for you. But anyways, the chat around the campfire, I think was really great for kind of bringing, I know it was only like 4 of us, but bringing at least those 4 together, learning more about each other. Kies still has a big thing that he is not ready to share with anyone. Honestly, and
Not even your boyfriend Cypher after he told you he was a pirate, Kies?
No. I was going to say, and Alejandra would like to hear this. I don't think Braylon really cares, but the person I think he would tell first would be Alejandra. I think because one, she gives off that motherly vibe that, you know, makes you feel comfortable talking with her. Like, oh, I can go to this person. I can trust this person. I don't think she's going to like betray me or shoot me in the back. He has a big thing that he thinks if you let people know a secret about you or know something, they will use that information against you. He is of the mindset that information is more valuable than gold.
You're playing so much like a fey creature than I am. Well, and I am a fey creature. I understand that that's your warlock thing, but that is such a fey creature thing to say. Genuinely. And I love every second of that, Mickey. I'm not giving you crap for that. I love that so much.
But yes, that's literally, he 100% believes that, you know, secrets, information, knowing things about someone is more valuable than actually just like robbing someone and taking their gold or whatever, or, you know, or like getting someone to owe you a favor. Like that is more valuable to him than anything else could possibly be. Not that he doesn't like fancy things that cost money, but
no, he hates that.
Yeah,
hates it.
But he could just, you know, trick his way into those kind of things.
Well, and of course, any character who has deception as part of their main skill set, you know, information is a huge part of that.
Wow, what makes you
How
think...
do you deceive someone if you don't know anything about them?
What makes you think that Kies has proficiency in deception?
I don't think that she blatantly said that. I think she might have been referring to the disguised self.
Yeah, or that too. But, you know, he definitely has proficiency in deception. He might have advantage on deception rolls too, or I think I get advantage on it if I'm portraying someone else.
See, and it's so funny because honestly, and I mean this genuinely, it's not just because I'm on a Twitch chat with him. Mickey is one of my favorite players to play with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all 6 people in this campaign, but the character here's my reasoning behind this. I will actually rephrase this. Kiez is one of my favorite characters in the campaign. And the reason behind this is because Alejandra is the perfect counter to Kiez.
Yes.
Because he has a charming ability and she's an elf, so she's just like, I do not care what you say. Try again, bro. And like, I love that because they are so opposite that they conflict each other. And that's some of, like, Josh and I had talked about this after last session too, when we were talking about putting this together. And I was so excited because he was like, oh yeah, you guys are just like great counterparts, like you're opposites. And I was like, there are so many ways that we're opposite that works together so well. And I love it.
But yeah, I think Mickey is the best player in this campaign too. He is just so awesome.
Okay,
Kies is the best.
Hang on a second though, because I as much as I love you, you also have to look back at the Twitch and understand that Kevin has all of the fans.
Yeah. Kevin.
Technically,
Kevin
right
is,
now
yeah.
it's Kevin. Everybody's probably just like, I wonder if Kevin's gonna secretly pop on tonight with Granny or something. Like they're probably all sitting in the Twitch chat going like finger wild, just typing themselves out.
Gosh, can you imagine just like the flood of people that would come into the stream if it was like Kevin takes his shirt off on stream? It'd be like, oh, Kevin.
It's actually so funny because I actually met his #1 fan last night and I quite appreciate his #1 fan. It's very fun. It's also absolutely hilarious that all of us are like, yeah, we have fans. And then there's Kevin who's just like, yeah, I have fans. And it's just the Twitch chat is all Kevin. It's just like, Kevin, look behind you. It's so fun.
You know what the August giveaway should be is like an date with Kevin.
No. I'm sure that's probably not something that they want. I'm sure Cypher wouldn't like that either. And I'm sure it's probably illegal.
No. It's totally fine. Win an date with Kevin.
Twitch, please don't give us trouble for this. Emily, cut him off.
Okay. So let's talk about the Earth eruption in the middle of the city. Do either of your characters? No, you don't want to talk about it?
No, it's fine. Keep going.
Well, the question was, do either of your characters feel guilty about damaging homes and businesses?
Oh, characters? No.
Assuming.
No.
Yeah,
Alejandra, no. So, like, here's the thing. Alejandra probably, if somebody had said, hey, you wrecked that building for nothing, like if Leonard looked at her tomorrow or like on Sunday and was like, hey, Alejandra, you almost flattened a building. Like, what the hell? She'd probably have to think about it and be like, oh my God, I did that. And then she would feel, she's an overthinker. I'm an overthinker. She'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm a terrible person. Holy crap. But from where she's sitting right now, she was trying to help her friend Jaeger. So the thought behind it was because we leveled up that session, Alejandra is not the sorceress who casts Fireball. I didn't take Fireball, to everybody's surprise. I'm just saying this sorceress is trying to be different. But she didn't take Fireball, she took Erupting Earth. And because she'd been using Mold Earth so much, and she grew up in a forest, I really want her to be like a plant-based character. That's what she is. So my whole idea behind it, and I do believe the way I described it, is she tried to cast Mold Earth, but in her franticness, it became overpowered as a wild magic sorcerer, causing the eruption. So in her head, she was just trying to put them on their butts so they could talk like men and stop acting like children. That's not how it went, because as you guys can tell, I think I did 28 damage to Jaeger that round, and that ended so well last fight for him. So, yeah, that's not how it went. Alejandra would probably feel guilty if somebody highlighted it to her, but at this point in time, she truly believes that she really was just trying to put a big timeout in effect, and it just didn't work.
On that topic, where do you think the nighttime city guard was during all of this?
I hate Leonard for putting that in here because I did not think about that. I hate you, Jake. I just want you to point that out. I don't think about those things. They were honestly, based on what we saw when we were fighting the zombies, they were probably in bed. Honestly.
Dead.
or killed, because like it looked like all the good ones got killed fighting the zombies, and then they were just left with the kids that probably have a bedtime. So
Okay, I don't know if they're that young. Come
they
on.
were young. Josh said they were young. Everybody under my age has a bedtime. Changed my mind. That's definitely shots at Jake.
The city guard kids.
Say.
The
Kitty
kitty
guards. They were described as kitty guards, basically.
I think they're at least 18 and old enough to enlist or be drafted. I don't know how it works.
I feel like the age of consent in medieval times is probably much lower than 18.
Yeah, it's
I feel like you had like 12-year-olds going off to war
I
at
feel
that
like
point.
it's probably like the
All
fact that Leonard's brother wasn't one of the city guard is only because they really like that tavern and they know that two people can't run it alone.
They just want the stuffed sausage.
They just
Like,
want the
yeah,
stuffed sausage to stay there.
You're not joining. But,
Yeah, no, not you, but like your best friend can join, just not you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tend to overthink things as a party, and clearly Leonard overthinking things, writing that question, is like a lot of guards died during that like undead attack. Clearly the gates are more important to guard than the brothel. So probably just they're down a lot of soldiers, and more important places need to be looked at. It's probably that simple.
We also did find out that the Justicars had already made it, so maybe they were part of an escort because they are still highly respected by everybody in Stormhaven except for us. So
Yeah, us, the Injusticars.
I hate it.
No, it's gonna
I hate
stick.
It's
gonna
not
stick.
gonna
I like it. I like
It's
it.
not-
Yeah, see?
It's not gonna. We cannot name our party after one person's bad experience of a backstory.
Yeah, but they're like a whole thing in the lore of literally the entire world. There's like 3 militaries, and they are like the top one.
Okay, that's fine. It's just we are 6 people, not a full army.
Yeah, but we're as strong as an army because we're gonna be gods, basically. So
Mickey has switched into Kias.
No, I just
You said we're gonna be gods. I'm sorry. That's something that Kias would say.
okay. Yeah, but Kias doesn't know that. Like, he doesn't know he levels up and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
but Kias probably does know that or at least think he's already a god.
I'm just saying. Yeah. No, that's probably true. Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe like a demigod.
All right. What other torturous questions does Jake have?
So I think at this point we're going into the battle, talking about that action and the aftermath. I do love the way he posed this question. Let's address the lack of the bear in the room. Where do you think Tullen is? I guess your characters. I'm assuming there was a reason why
So
the player wasn't there today.
Kias thinks that, or not Kias, Mickey thinks that Leonard is a serial killer. I think it's Tullen. I think Tullen, I do. And here's the thing though, I don't think he's a serial killer of people. I think he's got a really big problem with like a certain kind of animal. So anytime he hears like a coyote, he's just like, nope, gotta go kill it, and just takes off.
A coyote.
I'm trying to think of animals that make noises. I think there's like some really obscure thing that Tullen just feels the need to do. And I'm not gonna lie, I really hope that he goes back to the stuffed sausage before coming to find us and is like, who the fuck took my backpack? I genuinely hope that that's a thing that happens.
I just like to imagine Tullen being like southern and like, them coyotes and bobcats really piss me off. Oh man.
I'm like
Those
hoping
cicadas.
I'm low-key hoping that it's something like, yeah, this squirrel murdered my dad, and I need to kill all the squirrels on the planet because of it.
Squirrels
And that's
push
why
my
he
mom
only
off the
turns
cliff.
into a bear. That's exactly what it is. He only the squirrel accidentally dropped an acorn on my dad's head, and because he was so little, it killed him. Like, I feel like that's a fair.
Them damn foxes always getting in the hen house, messing
Exactly.
up my crops. Oh, I just get into a murderous rage every time I hear a fox.
But I also think that it's possible that Tullen left us in Stormhaven to go back to Pudmit to go on a date with that guy. What was his name?
What?
That dude.
Go on a
That dude
date?
that called him Little Magic Man. What the hell was his name?
Hyjor?
Hyjor, yeah.
Because this is what.
Kellen went on a date with Hyjor,
No,
canonically.
you don't go on a date.
No, Kellen went on a date with Hyjor now.
They're like bros.
Bromance.
It's a bromance.
Little magic
Bromance.
man.
Thank you, see?
And I mean, there's a lot of ways you could take that.
Exactly. If Alejandra, who literally is a magician, walks up to a kid, ruffles their hair, and is like, "Oh, I learned a new magic trick," and that gets taken wrong, then him being called Little Magic
Little
Man gets
magic
taken
man.
wrong.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, it does.
Thank you.
No, they're just bros.
Different standards for our medieval time.
But I do like the address the bear in the room part. You are very correct. That is hilarious.
No, that's awful.
If you can make puns about Mask of Many Faces, Leonard can make jokes about
sitting
bear.
in a hot coat.
And the Injusticar.
6 feet apart because they're not. Yeah.
So let's just get into the battle. What were your thoughts during the middle of it? What were your characters' goals and feelings? That's kind of a huge question, but
Nikki, you want to take this one first?
Which one? Like, I feel
I think
like
the battle with Jaeger.
in the middle of
the
the
battle.
city.
yeah, like I feel
Oh,
like
in the middle of the city.
oh, that's
or the
right.
one
We're working backwards chronologically.
No, I think we're going forward. Aren't we?
No, backwards because we started with Jaeger. Now we're back to Horus.
Are we going with the original fight, Emily, or the one where Jaeger dies?
Middle of city because we were just talking about you blowing up the building. You didn't do that with Jaeger or you erupting
Yeah, but
Earth
it's
the
just
building.
like when I think of a battle, us wondering how our emotions are.
It's
in
just
that battle, basically.
it's so complicated because we didn't get any rest, so it just feels like one long battle. Like we fought Horus, then we came back, and then we fought Jaeger, and then we fought Horus again, and it's like,
But
oh
as
my
a
gosh.
counterpoint to that, this entire 2 weeks has been one long battle. We're either fighting
True.
with each other or fighting something else.
Yeah, I don't know. The battle with Horus, though, from Kias's perspective, was great because he did nothing.
I think the first battle with Horus, from Alejandro's perspective, she has never supported Kias charming somebody before he charmed Horus. And she was like, yes, this is perfect because it's going to work for 10 minutes and everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to be great just like this. And then the meltdown happened and we had to take that off. And she was like, this is a stupid idea. This is a completely stupid idea. Terrible idea. And that's why she told him to leave. But I will say that him leaving, that being dropped did save Perpetual's life. Hopefully. To be determined if he lives. But
oh yeah, because we were going to walk him right to Perpetual.
we were going to walk him basically right to Perpetual.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I genuinely, and I have to say, I just want everybody to be aware, as a player, like, Braylon thought that Horus was a friend of Perpetual's. That wasn't just Alejandra. I did not think that Josh was going to be like, hey, guys, you know what's going to be really funny? I know you just saved him, but, like, what happens if I throw a Warforged assassin that not only do you have to deal with, but Jaeger specifically has to deal with? So now, here's this for you. I genuinely thought that it was going to be like, oh, yeah, hey, guys, this is a friend for you because he wants to save Perpetual for, you know, helping him with this back when. And so when Perpetual didn't know who it was, I was like, fuck, Josh is actually going to murder him? Okay, I guess we got to deal with this.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so funny that Horus fight because like he literally it was an 8-hour charm, by the way. He was going to be our friend for 8 hours, and Jaeger was like, "No, drop it," and you know Kias doesn't give a shit, so it's like, all right, I'll drop it, but I'm not doing a damn thing after this. So he gets 60 feet away or whatever the range is, drops it, and says, "This is your problem now." I turn into Jake McLeod, ongoing NPC, and just casually walk down the street. And that's all Kias did in the fight, because he's like, look, this is not my fight. This is Jaeger and this, other Warforged. They can do whatever they want to do. They can do Warforged things together, whatever that means. Move, whatever. They do moose stuff.
Go ahead, Emily.
Mickey, let me ask you, keep that thought, Braylon. There's a question about Kias trying to bring Jaeger back to the party to discuss how things were going, and he was rebuffed. And what are your thoughts about that dialogue? Of note, Jake wrote this, Jaeger pointing out how flirtatious Kias is.
Well, I think more of Jaeger pointing out how flirtatious Kias is, but how little action Kias actually gets.
No result. So much effort with no result.
Yeah. I don't think Kias actually sees himself as flirtatious. Like, he's like not actually pursuing anyone romantically.
Except for Cypher.
That's just kind of how he is, though. And like, I think he sees Cypher is a pretty man, and he sees something pretty, and he recognizes that, and he's like, "Hey, you're a very attractive man, you know, like I like attractive things." You know, that's how he is.
I feel like that, like, the basis of my thought, at least, is because you keep describing Kias as, I only like the finest things in life. And then everybody in the party, you're like, nope, I'm flirting with Cypher. So it's like he's trying to collect.
Cypher is
an action figure.
Cypher is the finest thing in the party. Alejandra could be a close second, though. I got you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
But you know, so yeah, like, that's kind of his thought process. But you know, again, Kias, deep down, good guy. You know, I think deep down has a similar heart to Alejandra, just complete opposite directions in life. So doesn't come back around the same way, but he wants Jaeger to be, you know, his friend. He wants, like, hey, you're a good guy. I know who you are. Why are you walking off? Like, come back. Let's work this out. We can work this out together. It's better in numbers. You know, again, kind of a growth thing he's learning, because he's been on his own for a while. Not that the party knows that, but and just kind of, you know, being someone else and getting through life. You know, I guess lore drop or something. This is the time with the party is the longest Kias has been Kias, like looking like that. Ever?
Nikki,
yeah.
does Kias have daddy issues?
Are you asking Mickey or Kias?
I am asking.
I was going to say, does he have identity issues?
I'd say, asking Mickey, I'd say yes to both.
Yes. Okay. Good.
But yeah, so like that's the longest he's like looked like Kias. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is because he's more often than not, he is someone else. It's like, oh, if I be this person, I can get back here, and I can just take, like, if I look like the chef, then I can just walk back behind into the kitchen, grab the food, and leave. And then if I look like this person, I can get in here. And so he just goes through life doing that, not being.
Let's get really deep here. Is that like a coping mechanism? Is there a deep discomfort that he feels with himself?
Oh, I don't think he's discomforted by it. I think that's just how he knows to get by. Like, it's just the only way he knows. It's like how, yeah, it's, I guess it's a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism. Maybe it's just like, how am I going to feed myself? Oh, I just become the chef and walk back into the kitchen and take the food. That's how I feed myself. And it's just like natural to him because he can just be the chef naturally. So it's just kind of how he is. So actually looking like Kias, you know, around these people for a long period of time, and not just, you know, not just being Jaeger and be like, hey, I'm back with the party. Let's go, guys. We can leave now. And then just leaving Jaeger behind, which is kind of something he would naturally do. But you know, he follows after Jaeger and is like, look, you should come. There is strength in numbers. We can find Horus. Like, everybody wants this for you, I promise. And then he drops the, like, look, you're a flirt, but you don't get any kind of, you know, line. And like that offends like Mickey doesn't offend Mickey at all, but to Kias, like, that is like an insult. Like, that's like saying like, oh, you look dirty, to him was like the worst thing you could possibly say to him. So saying like, oh, you're not as pretty as you think you are, you don't look beautiful enough to get laid, you're not as eloquent enough to get any action, is such an insult to him that he's like, all right, fine, go off on your own, be a dumbass, and I'm gonna go back to the stuffed sausage. That's what he did. He went back. He's like, all right, I'm going with these people. You clearly don't give a shit. So deuces.
All right, so let's go to Alejandra now, Braylon. I know at the beginning of this, you talked a little bit about how you ran ahead to the stuffed sausage. You broke from the party a little bit. I want to give you another opportunity to talk about your reasoning for doing that. What was Alejandra trying to do when she ran ahead? If there's anything that you haven't hashed out already.
For Alejandra, and I feel kind of bad saying this, I really do. I think that the person that she put the most effort into getting to know was Jaeger. I don't know if Mickey disagrees with that at all, but I feel like Alejandra put the most effort in. And the reasoning behind that is Alejandra grew up in a tree with her mom, and then she worked at an orphanage. Those are the two things that she has ever known. So as soon as Jaeger said, I'm only 12 days old, Alejandra's like, oh, you're a child. So she became overly attached and protective.
That makes so much sense.
Thank you. That's why this has been like, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that. I keep saying like the biggest part of Alejandra is she worked at an orphanage, and I don't think, because it was either her and her mom or her and these kids, she didn't have, at this point that you guys know of, she didn't have a father. She didn't have adult reassurance other than her mother and a lady that worked at the orphanage with her. And so she's been learning to control her magic on her own, with her mother trying to teach her, but it's a completely separate thing for her. So when it came down to Jaeger, Alejandra tried. She tried very hard. Like, Kias and Leonard were always trying to make themselves look good when they woke up. The prestidigitation. And unfortunately for Jaeger, he's covered in this green goop that happens when metal oxidizes. So Alejandra's like, no, you know what? That's bullshit. I'm going to make you look just as good as these guys over here who are trying to be beauty stars. And so she tried to clean him for so long. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but she tried. Alejandra didn't know, but she wanted to try. And then when he came down from the tree covered in bird poop, and the jokes, and the whole, even though she got so angry at him, she did apologize after, regarding him being so blunt with Lucas about, do you want to see your friends die? Holy crap, that was some foreshadowing. I just realized that. Oh my god. Anyways.
Oh man.
Oh god, that's come full circle in my head. Hang on. Okay. So like, she really looked at it from a perspective of, I'm trying to raise you, essentially, because that's what orphanages kind of are, at least in my head. I was never part of an orphanage, Braylon-wise. But that's why she felt so attached to Jaeger. And I think that when the whole thing with Horace originally happened, she genuinely blamed herself. And she said it to the guys. She said, I went off because we fuck things up as a group. When we don't know what goes on, as a group, we just fucking drop a nuke and then ask questions after. We tend to be a shoot first, ask questions later group. And in Alejandra's head, that wasn't how it was going to help Jaeger. Helping Jaeger was trying to do it on her own, so that way she would get the explanation and be able to explain it to the party and have the full amount of information. Which is why she ran off. Did not expect everybody else to chase after her, not gonna lie. I personally was shocked about that. I thought they were gonna be like, oh shit, we'll deal with Jaeger. It was a little weird for me, because I was like, shit, now how do I explain this? Because Alejandra would not explain it. So, when she ran off, she was going back to the stuffed sausage because of that last thought of, I need to find Perpetual. And the reason that she was going back was because if she found Perpetual first, then she could say, hey, I need you to tell me everything you know about this Warforged so I can go find Jaeger and tell him. Because that was genuinely what was important to her. And when Perpetual got back and he had no idea who Horus was, that flipped the gears in her head from trying to help Jaeger to protecting Costo. That's what flipped. That was the switch that went from on to off in her head. And so it was really nice that Cypher stayed outside with Alejandra because she was going to pace until she saw Perpetual come back. It was going to happen. But when that switched, switch flipped. I don't know what I'm trying to say. When that switch flipped, because there was imminent danger and then there was hurt feelings, any mother is going to say, as much as it's going to suck if my kid wants to jump off this cliff, that's dangerous, I'm not going to let them do it. That's where her head was at. And so I had to make the decision as a player that I never want to have to make again. At this point, I will just sacrifice putting Fireball on myself if y'all make me kill one of you. I'm just saying. I had to make the decision as a player that when Alejandra figured out it was Jaeger shooting at her, the person that she's trying to take under her wing, I had to play through the anger that I described Alejandra with from the start. I had to. And a lot of that, I think, was based on herself. She blamed herself a lot of it because she couldn't help him. If anything, she caused a lot of the problems for him, right? The erupting earth probably didn't help the conversation any, not gonna lie. It probably didn't help. But so she put a lot of blame on herself, and that whole session was really hard for her, even before that. Because she put a lot of, at one point she had said this is I ran off because the conversation was my fault. It should have just been a conversation. We couldn't just have a conversation. Outside of that, Braylon knows that Horus saw us walk in with Perpetual, so he would have ran from us regardless. Because he knows we're friends with Perpetuals. He would not have talked to us. Outside of that, I know that. Alejandra doesn't know that. And so for the person that she was trying so hard to be close with, to shoot her in the back, stab Costo in the back. We just fought a stupid fight trying to save Perpetual that all of us rolled nat ones on, and it was so frustrating for all of us players. And then for him to turn around and try and kill him again, Alejandra was pissed. And then on top of that, he didn't just try and kill Perpetual. He shot Cypher, he shot Alejandra, and then he shot Alejandra again. So when Alejandra lost it, for lack of better words, she didn't exactly space out or dissociate, but when she lost it, she lost all feeling. There was nothing left except pure wild anger and chaos. And so the decisions that I made as a player were that she was going to do some pretty brutal things when she's in that state. So I had to think on the fly of something that she could do. And what better to represent being stabbed in the back by somebody that you loved than to pull the literal crossbow bolt out of your back and put it back in the person who shot you with it. And really connect them that way. And then the same thing goes for Horus. When Alejandra did the exact same thing to Horus, I just want to be clear that I overthink everything. When Alejandra put that crossbow bolt through Horus and then put them in the same hole, it was because Jaeger wanted to be like a Warforged. She didn't do that to Horus because, she did it to Horus because she wanted to kill Horus. She could have killed Horus or let Cypher kill Horus. She did it because Jaeger's number one thing was he wanted to fit in with Warforged and understand what happened to him. And in her sick, disgusting mind at the time, they both died the same way. So it was another connection for them, not just being buried together.
Now, I think there's a very interesting parallel between Jaeger and Alejandra both having that switch that can be flipped. What do you think about that? That's my own question. Jake didn't write that.
That's why it was so much better.
I do.
I was just noticing that kind of really tragically beautiful.
So
connection.
I actually don't know anything about the backstory that Tim developed. Genuinely, I do not. I made the decision as a player. I think it was like the first thing I ever said to Josh. I was like, hey, I'm going to play a very happy player that's very protective of her friends. And if her friends get threatened, she's going to go apeshit. I had planned that out from the start. But it's so different in comparison to Tim's because Alejandra doesn't dissociate. She doesn't change who she is. It's not because she doesn't want to protect her friends at that point. What happens for her is because she's a wild magic sorcerer and her emotions heavily control her magic. Heavily. That's why when she gets too emotional, you'll hear Josh say, okay, roll a wild magic roll, without me actually needing to do a roll, because we discussed that that's one of her flaws. But so for her, when she becomes so emotionally overwhelmed and has that problem, it's like elephant toothpaste in high school. You remember that experiment where you add just the last little I don't know what it's called in the States, but like I think it's peroxide. You add the peroxide and it explodes like this big foamy gush.
Oh, like the vinegar and
kind of like vinegar.
When you make a volcano.
Sure, except this is with like peroxide and dish detergent. There's a lot of different things.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
So it makes a really big foam explosion and nothing's left in the glass. Nothing is, because of the pressure that is released from this chemical reaction. And so the way that it's a terrible analogy if you don't understand the experiment I'm talking about, but the way that I pictured Alejandra having this second part of herself is when she becomes so emotionally like she explodes emotion-wise, she leaves nothing left in herself. And there's nothing left for her to attach to and to feel. So she goes numb. And for the little bit that is left over is that residue of just pure anger and rage. And that's how I built Alejandra to be, is she's going to be this full glass of whatever chemical you want at all times, but it's a few little drops of one bad reaction and it's just going to empty itself. And that's how Alejandra is.
Fascinating. I love that.
I feel very nerdy all of a sudden.
I guess. No, I love that. I need to look that up. I never did that.
You've got Jake the chemist in the chat be like, yes, it's hydrogen peroxide, 3%.
You, Jake, I can't run Twitch right now because my internet is so bad up here on planet Canada. But no, I am very glad that I'm not getting this wrong. At least somebody knows what I'm talking about.
I feel like I was deprived of cool science classes. I did nothing like that.
Genuinely, if you Google it, you need to Google this, because if you watch what this experiment looks like, you will be like, oh my god, that is 100% what happened to Alejandra. That is like the complete basis of it, dude.
Is it like Mentos in Coca-Cola?
So essentially, it's a bunch of different like household chemicals in a test tube. And when you add hydrogen peroxide, it causes these chemicals to only become a foam. But the foam is very hot, and the heat expansion blows it out of the glass without breaking the glass. And there's really nothing left in the glass, because the foam has then gone on the table or the roof, or depending how much you've put it on. So and it's called elephant's toothpaste because it looks like this large amount of foam.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, peroxide is combined with activated yeast.
Yes.
Is that it?
And dish detergent and like all that. Just Google. I think if you Google elephant's toothpaste on YouTube, you'll find that experiment. It's really, really cool. But if you watch that and you understand what I'm referencing, then hopefully Alejandra's wild magic and everything like that will make more sense to you guys.
Man, D&D making me do math, now learn science. Listen,
I am a legitimate massive nerd at this point. I have referenced so much stupid metaphorical crap in the science community that I feel nerdy, but I love it, so it's okay.
Man, this is just secret school.
We all play D&D. Are any of us not nerds?
I love being a nerd, though.
Exactly. So I guess this is a good opportunity for me to ask Alejandra, this experience, where's that going to take her next time? Is this going to be a long time recovery that she's going to need to go through?
No. And
just reset button.
So here's the thing. She probably doesn't want to be around when it's explained to Costo and Tullen what happened. But, and this isn't healthy, I condone this in absolutely no way for anybody in the chat. Alejandра's a bottler. She's not a wild magic sorcerer with emotional problems for nothing. She's a bottler. She's gonna stuff it down and everything's gonna be fine until it's not. That is not healthy. Botched rules does not condone that. Get mental health help if you need it. But part of Alejandra's backstory, so that's how it's gonna be.
And you need drama for a campaign, of course.
It's gotta be some kind of botch.
And in the Fire Dome, we established that real men cry, so don't bottle your emotions up. It's okay to cry, even as a man, if you've been conditioned that it's not manly your entire life. We established that in the Fire Dome.
Yeah, no, she's gonna be pretty okay pretty quickly. And honestly, that fire conversation really helped her get over it quickly. She still feels like a total dick. She did not want to kill Jaeger. I did not want to kill Jaeger. Neither of us would have chosen that outcome. But when it came down to I was last in initiative and she had 4 HP left, I was like, well, I have the arsenal. Better get it out and ready because this is how it's gonna go. And ironically, unfortunately for both me and Tim, those were some of the best rolls that we have ever made in a combat, and they were against each other. So.
All right. So, yeah, we talked about your thoughts on Jaeger attacking the party. I guess I'll ask, do we have anything to say about Tim returning without Jaeger? Did you guys want to talk about that at all?
Mickey, do you want to, or should I?
Go. You could go for it.
Okay. So Tim has made the decision on his behalf that he will not be returning. Jaeger is not returning. Nobody is. So I would like to express that I personally feel a little bit at fault for that, even though I know it's not. Trust me, I know it's not my fault. Tim is doing what is best for him, and I want him to know that I heavily respect him, and I know everybody else heavily respects him as well. And that he will be missed. Jaeger will be missed, even though he shot me. No hard feelings. Little bit of hard feelings, but it's fine. Sorry, I make jokes of trauma, and I shouldn't. But on behalf of the entire party, I know that this is what's good for Tim because this is the decision that he has made himself, and I trust his decisions for himself wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, keeping with the theme of, hashtag botched mental health, but don't bottle things up. Like D&D is a place for fun. Like everyone should be having fun, like not just like our campaign, but any campaign you're in, you should be having fun. And if campaign or something in the campaign is, prohibiting your fun or something exterior to the campaign, we all have personal lives that can interfere, makes that fun stop, then like you should stop. Like you're not required to play D&D. It's not like a binding contract. Like if it's best for you to not be a part of a situation, don't be a part of that situation. And I think same goes for DMs. If you have a player in your campaign that is making things awkward or uncomfortable for everybody else, or making the game not fun for you, like you should talk to them. And if they don't change, you're allowed to ask them to leave your game. If like there are certain things that make people uncomfortable, and it's very easy to just say like, hey, DM, I don't like spiders. Like, please do not do, like, I am deathly afraid of spiders. I do not want any spiders in my campaign. And if the DM is like, well, we're going into the spider lair and it's nothing but spiders, you can leave. You can just say,
flag.
Yeah, just say, nope, this is not for me. So yeah, like you have to respect anybody that goes like, hey, look, like X, Y, and Z is happening. This is not my place to be. I'm gonna bow out gracefully, go out on kind of an epic note, like Braylon or Alejandra, really murdered him, like really good. So I guess if you're gonna go out, you kind of want to go out being epically murdered.
Yeah.
Sounds
Blaze
cool
of
to me.
glory.
Yeah, blaze of glory.
A literal blaze of glory. And I made it a bonus action, so it was fun. And but also on that note, Tim gave us a great bonding experience, multiple of them actually, that I think is just going to draw the group closer. So we do also appreciate him for that. And honestly, just wish him the best. He's his own DM, so I hope everybody looks forward to his games as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Very good lesson there in self-care and knowing kind of one's boundaries and respecting those. Love that.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's move to Costo now. What are your thoughts on him going down again? And in light of him always getting smashed, do you think getting him better armor would be kind of a priority at this point?
Be honest, and this is coming from Braylon, not Alejandra. 1 AC is not gonna help you, bro. I'm sorry, Anthony. I love you. I really do, and I'm so sorry that I pick on you so much. I know it's probably bad to hear at this point, and I'm so sorry it happens. 1 AC is not gonna fix the fact that Josh needs to throw away his red dice. That's it. That's how we fix it. Anthony, you stop going down. You go to Josh's house. You steal the red dice. You feed them to a snake or something. I don't know what you guys have in the States.
Snake?
I'm going with whatever is in the States. You throw them down the gutter for it to play with. I don't care. Get rid of the red dice and you don't go down. I'm just saying. Just saying.
In the States, we just have bison and eagles. All right.
There are no snakes in Canada.
Oh, there are snakes in Canada. I just feel like there's rattlesnakes. There's rattlesnakes in the States. We don't have rattlesnakes where I am. At least I've never seen one.
I mean, I step outside my front lawn and I got 5 rattlesnakes on me.
I am not feeding it to a moose. That thing is double my height, and that is not a joke. Those things are like, what are they, like 8 foot, 10 foot at the shoulder? That's not even their head.
I feel like a moose is so big that it could just accidentally inhale a set of dice.
Exactly.
And wouldn't even be phased.
I would rather run into a rattlesnake than a moose, because at least I know the rattlesnake is going to back off. The moose is going to charge you. They don't mess around.
Oh, yeah.
So Costo, who is the size of a moose, as we have established, or at least weighs as much as one, it's canon.
I can't wait till he gets back and yells at you for
Oh, I know. I just love that he was out for a session, but because it's just been so fun. I think this one, callback to hour and 45 minutes ago of playing your character's flaws. Costo is brash. He is going to rush into combat. He is going to see a goblin and go, "Goblin should be dead." Run in and try to kill goblin. He's going to see person wants to hurt my friend. I go hurt person first,
Describing him with a 6 intelligence.
I mean, that's kind of how
why are you talking like he's literally below average?
Look, we know Costo's not the brightest. But no, that's that's his thing. Like he was a Justicar. Like he has this like justice in him, but like he's fallen from that and now he's very vengeful of that. So it's like, I must rush in, I must fight everything because that's what I know. And he's up on the front line. He's taking the hits, which is honestly great for the party. That's what he should be doing. It's just like Aliandra, or like Braylon said, Josh, man, that red die, he rolls so good with that freaking die.
Get rid of
Dice.
I will literally pay Jackie to get rid of that dice. I swear to God, I will transfer money into an American account just for her to get rid of that dice. Name a number, Jackie. I do not care. Anyways, but back up, like on the topic of Costo, I rip into him really hard for this. I do, because it's fun. Because I am playing a sorceress stupidly. Do not get me wrong. It is idiotic that my sorceress is like, my meat shield has gone down. I better go up and be the meat shield. Do not get me wrong. But I think that the first fight he went down multiple times in, was because it was a 10-foot wide hallway. And somebody, not naming names, decided to transform into a 10-foot wide bear. So it didn't exactly make it easy to get around. So Costo is effectively a one-man team in that situation. So Aliandra did what Aliandra does. She's going to pop up there and she's going to make sure nobody gets the final blow on Costo by casting shield. And she's going to try and disarm the situation with using minor illusion, which didn't work, but still. She's gonna protect her friend. But Braylon is sure going to make sure that Anthony knows that she has been the one meat shielding for him with a 13 AC.
All right, so it's time for a shopping trip for Costo.
No, I don't think 1 AC of armor is going to change that. It's literally, it was only plus 1 AC, Emily. 1, that's it. Yeah, it wasn't like plus 6 or anything. It was literally he'd go from 19 to 20. That was it. That was it. That's why I'm saying it's not the armor. Get rid of the dice.
Yeah, armor class can't fix stupid.
All right. Let's finish up this kind of act of the episode with our favorite battle moments, if there were any. I know we've talked about a lot of specific battle moments, but if there was a particular, action that you took that felt very powerful, what do you think you could have done differently from a character or player perspective?
I feel like Aliandra does more battle than Kies.
Yeah, I know.
So what was your favorite moment of the battle, though, Mickey? Even though you might not have fought it, what was your favorite moment?
Ooh, well, I don't know. Like from playing it, actually having suggestions succeed is always feels good. Like that's such an amazing ability that changes things completely. It's like, it succeeded. Oh, you are so screwed now.
One of my favorite spells.
Yeah, like it's such a great spell. So like having that succeed. But yeah, like I said, for me, I haven't used spell slots in a long time. Like since that suggestion spell, I have not used spell slots, and that was 3 days ago in game, something like that. 2.5, I guess. But honestly, my favorite has been Braylon or Aliandra killing Jaeger. I mean, she like machine gunned some scorching ray blast into him, and it was really epic. And and like I know Kies seeing her like not be a mom and like be this like badass. That's what I mean. I RP'd it. I was like, yo, like that was kind of hot. Like you like that, like that's what he would think. Like, holy shit, she was so awesome. And like, so yeah, I'm gonna say that, like machine gunning some scorching rays.
Hot, literally.
Literally hot.
All right.
I think it was, so I do agree. It was interesting playing an angry Aliandra because not only did I kill him, I effectively killed him in 1 bonus action. For anybody who hasn't watched it, that was a bonus action because I quick spelled. Yeah, so it just happens that Scorching Ray has 4 rays and all 4 of them hit. So the first one knocked him down, and the last 3 gave him failed death saves. The bonus action full out killed him, but and then the stabbing him through the eye was metaphorical because that hurt Alejandro's feelings. My personal favorite moment that episode, as much of a headache as it is to get Kias to do anything, was when Kias opened the door and I teleported Perpetil inside. I understand that I have used that many times, but I think that is the most meaningful use of phase step, or the Eladrin phase step ability. For those who don't know, Alejandra is a spring Eladrin elf right now. She is an Eladrin elf. I can change her season if I choose to, but because spring represents happiness, new chances, new opportunities, Alejandra is a spring elf. And her Eladrin Fae ability as a spring elf is she can cast Misty Step on one willing participant. Or on one willing creature. So, the fact that I got a short rest is what really helped Perpetil there. Because I was able to get up and fight after I put him inside. I mean, it was probably really not fun for Leonard's family to have a dying shot guy magically appear inside their tavern. But effectively, I hope Alejandro saved his life doing that. And that's what I built Alejandro to do, was to save the lives of her friends and people who mattered to their friends. So I feel like that was a beautiful character moment, even though the moment following it was not beautiful.
Okay.
Yo, I hate that Kias gets shit for the opening the door thing. Like, he legit did not know there was a fight going on.
It's not just the door, but we're like, hey, Kias, can you do this? And it's, maybe. All of the time. All of the time. Yeah.
But, all right. Other times it's fine, but the door thing particular, he did what he was supposed to do, and he gets shit for it because it's like, oh, why did you open the door? He didn't know there was a fight going. He didn't know Jaeger was out front murdering everyone. He was inside.
No,
but information is so important to him.
It is. But like, he had literally gone around doing the whole, like, we're gonna do this false information, make him think Perpetil's heading south. He was around doing all of this stuff, and he had to go into the inn for the real Perpetil to come out. So he goes in, real Perpetil comes out. I had to be in the restaurant or whatever you want to, the stuffed sausage. I had to be in there, and he had to go out and like door close. So now I don't know what's going on. I think he's leaving, and I'm just waiting for the party to come back in, It's
totally not Kia's fault. However, I can't only rip on Anthony. So no, Mickey.
I can.
Okay, well, no, that's not fair. I pick on Mickey as well.
Well, I can't rip on Cypher because he's just so pretty.
I know, it's not fair. We can't make any jokes at him because it's like, not only am I pretty, but I can also hit every fucking attack. That's bullshit.
That's true.
It's fucking bullshit.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wonderful. So would we say that the battle MVP definitely Alejandra?
I don't want to be the MVP of that battle.
Battle MVP.
I really don't want to be the MVP of that battle.
Maybe there was no MVP.
I feel like there honestly, I feel like there was honestly no winner in that fight because we lost a friend.
True.
Great one-liner. I'm going to leave that there. Unless you have another thing to say about it.
All good. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I think that sums up the feelings of that last episode pretty well. Okay, so now to go with what happened after this huge fight. The party escaped Stormhaven and had time to question Horus. So how are the characters feeling after they executed him?
Alejandra felt better and worse. She felt better because a little bit more anger got emptied. She felt worse because that son of a bitch lied to Jaeger. Mickey, how did you feel?
Oh, Kias fuck that guy, kill him already. Like, like one, Kias is, get the information, which we did. Like, also another reason, like, Alejandra was being a badass is she does the mind shit to like read his thoughts, or like, oh, he's lying to us right now, or oh, he has gold in his purse, or oh, he's gonna go back to the Justicar and just tell them.
Okay, it's no longer a backpack, it was his purse.
His merce.
It was his merce. He was a mercenary after all.
Hey.
Good.
But yeah, so like Kias this guy is awful. He was gonna kill his friends. To him, he's lowest of the low, like that, like mercenary kind of work. It's like, nah, come on. There's always a better solution to a problem than let's just murk this guy. But once we've got that information out of him and he is an awful person, hell yeah, kill him.
Question, if you don't mind, Emily.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Mickey.
I mind.
Mickey, from Kies, not from you. If Kies would have seen Jaeger try and kill Perpetil and Alejandra, and seeing how close he put Alejandra to death, do you think that he still... how do you think Kies would have felt if Alejandra died and Jaeger didn't, out of curiosity? Not a player standpoint, character standpoint.
Well, so hold on. I see all this and Alejandra dies, or I see all this and the situation plays out.
You see what, because you didn't see him shoot at Perpetil, but you came outside to see him shoot me. He attacked me, remember? You saw him attack me.
Yes, yes, because his turn was before mine or after? Yeah,
it was
his
before
was right
yours.
Before.
So you saw him, so Kias saw him full out nearly murk Alejandra. Like, I'm talking like 4 bolts to the chest, should have died kind of death. What would have happened, like, to Kias, what would Kias have done if he took Alejandra out and then didn't listen?
That's like a good question, because one, Kias would want to help Alejandra, but he can't, like, he literally can't do anything if you're down. Like, that's not in his skill set. So does he still try to like bring Jaeger back, because he doesn't believe that is who Jaeger is? No, I think he's the one that murks Jaeger at that point, like if Jaeger kills Alejandra.
So from Alejandra's standpoint with this, she knows Jaeger shot her. She knows Jaeger took Costo took Costo down, but Jaeger also took Costo down. She knows that that's all happened. So if Kias was in Alejandra's shoes, would you react the same way that would Kias react the same way that Alejandra did? Because they are similar in a certain sense with that. So I guess outside of if Alejandra went down, but let's say Kias was the one standing there and watched Jaeger try and murk Costo, would Kias have done the same thing that Alejandra did?
Does Kias also get shot like Alejandra got shot?
Yes. No, you're in Alejandra's shoes.
Yeah. Oh, then hell yeah. He's like, Hex, Eldritch Blast, like, get the hell out of here. Nah, he ain't putting up with that.
Okay. Just a few more questions about kind of the ending part of the episode. The burials for the 2 Warforged. Is there any elaboration on how Jaeger's grave is marked out of sight? Jake has also written cool use of Misty Step, by the way.
Alejandra has not only the ability to cast Face Step on somebody else, she might have a feat that lets her cast it on herself as well. So she can cast it twice a day without expending a spell slot to transport. Once she can teleport one person, the second, or herself, and the second time she can teleport herself. So what she did, because she still loved Jaeger heavily, but she was so angry at him, and she is so angry at him, and I don't think she's ever going to get over that anger. But she casted Misty Step 30 feet up a tree, took the piece of banner that he always carried around and put it in 30 feet up that tree into the bark with one of the bolts that he shot into her. And then she went back down the tree.
Wow.
So, and for all three, so for both of those and Perpetual, she had to roll wild magic surges. So she's making massive sacrifices. That's the thing, is like, she makes a sacrifice every time she uses a spell. And that's very reminiscent of who she is. So, as angry as she was at Jaeger, she doubled her chance of possibly hurting everybody around her just to mark who he is. But just didn't want people to be able to find his body.
Okay, I love that.
And Kies just wanted Jaeger to know that, like, he can totally get laid even though Jaeger's dead. Like, it's kind of like, you're a dick, but you've been my bro. Like a bro moment of like bro, we can't cry in front of each other because we're bros, but this is really sad, you know, kind of a thing.
But it's okay for men to cry.
It is.
Even if they're bros.
Exactly.
Sitting in a hot tub of their own tears.
Yes, you can be in a hot tub. You don't need to be 6 feet apart. You could be right next to each other, crying.
Beautiful.
Yes, that is the very cool way that the grave was marked in Leonard's words.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
A lot of symbolism.
I really like English class and science class, if anybody can't tell.
Amazing. Okay, so last kind of question about the Warforged, I think. How are your characters feeling about that kind of race in general now?
that's a good question.
I guess if you were to encounter another one, would you be automatically distrustful, or?
I think Kies is kind of harping on this like knowledge that people kind of keep them as like antiques on display, like they're, you know, it's like digging up an arrowhead or something. You're like, oh, this is cool, and I put, you know, it's from so many years ago, or like a dinosaur bone kind of thing, and it's like, oh, I am a rich person and I bought a fossil of a T-Rex and I display it in my house because I'm so opulent. I think Kies is probably more focused on that now, like, oh, can I get money for one of these guys?
I thought that was going to be a character development moment for him, but
no.
Question to answer that question: are DMs allowed to metagame?
What?
So, like, if I answer this question truthfully, is he going to be able to, like, I can get Alejandra with this? I feel like DMs shouldn't be allowed to metagame either. It's a good question. It's a good question. Thank you.
I get what you're saying. I think
it's a good question. Josh, don't be a jerk with this answer. Because Alejandra is so founded in her emotions. Yeah, like, seriously, plug your ears, don't rewatch the stream, just don't answer. And she's bottling this up. Psychologically wise, Braylon knows that that's how you kind of get PTSD. So I think that if she sees a Warforged, it's not going to go great for her. And I don't think Josh should be allowed to know that. Just saying. If you throw another Warforged at us and I cast Fireball on myself, it is your fault, not mine. Thank you.
That's a very understandable reaction or expectation, I think.
I think it's gonna, like, flash her back to be like, I had a friend once and then I had to kill him. Oh my god, don't come near me. I think that's gonna be her reaction.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very interesting answers. I love those. Okay, next one. Now we know that they are scrying Perpetual's location, so any ideas what to do about it? Leonard suggested setting up an ambush. Yes or no?
One, hell no on an ambush. Like, it's an entire military that's scrying on him. Like, what are we gonna ambush? As a player and a character, that scares the shit out of me, especially because, like, from Kies's standpoint, information is more valuable than anything. And, like, what is the scrying is like that is information gold. Like you are getting all the information. So that scares the shit out of Kies. Like that is like I don't want it. I have no idea how we're going to deal with it. Like not be by Perpetil, but then Casto won't allow that because Perpetil's just going to die. I love that like Leonard was like, I'm going to shave his head. Like that's going to like hair like hair doesn't grow back or something. And like that's now they can't scry on him. Like
Alejandra has already thought this through, and she's not going to tell the party because, like, not right off the bat. She's going to use message because she knows that they're listening to Perpetil. So she burned the hair in hopes they think that she doesn't know that they're she doesn't know that they're scrying on Perpetil anymore. But I very clearly remember being told by a certain DM that, or I guess NPC, but that they were scrying on Perpetil after he left the anti-magic field. So we now have a very large, we have a couple valuable magic items that I'm curious if I were to trade to a wizard or something, if I would be able to get an amulet of anti-magic somehow. So that way, he could wear it, and they wouldn't be able to scry on him, and it would be like a portable anti-magic field.
Very good idea.
Thank you.
Too bad we're headed to like a deserted town. Like, where are we gonna find this?
This is very true, but I'm also hoping
it's such a good idea, though.
I'm also hoping that eventually we level up, and I will be able to cast Dispel Magic every now and then to try and combat it a little bit. Because I can't remember how Dispel Magic works on scrying, but I think it's like 8 hours that you can't scry on that person or something.
Excellent.
So.
Okay. Okay, next question. Not sure the context of this, but now we have your characters again on opposite sides of drinking alcohol. Thoughts on how your characters interplay on that? I'm assuming this is over the fireside chat.
Yeah. I don't know why Alejandra wouldn't just have some fruit punch that Kies offered her.
To be honest to that one, that's a little bit of metagaming personally. Braylon's not the biggest fan of alcohol. My father's an alcoholic, so my character's not going to drink. So,
very fair answer.
But that's
Kies
metagamed into her. Kies doesn't know anything. So that's metagamed into her backstory. But she also worked around kids and kind of had the logic of alcohol is bad. Stay in school, kids. So that's kind of Alejandra. Alejandra also thinks that alcohol is probably poison.
And I feel like her wanting to have her wits about her at this moment is probably a good choice. If she's afraid that, anything would be able to affect her emotional state.
The other thing is, like, currently, here's the thing. She loves Kies. She really does. She loves Kies. She loves Leonard. She loves Cypher. She loves the whole party. However, at the current moment, we are down in Ubu. Costo's napping in the cart. Perpetil's almost dead. Leonard and Kies are getting drunk. Cypher and Alejandra are two versus the world of people that want to kill them at this point.
Hold on. If no. If you two drank as well, no one would get drunk. It's one bottle of wine amongst 4 people.
Okay, but Alejandro's never drunk before, which means that Josh is going to give me some mechanic of like, it's either you roll an at 20 or you're wasted.
No, it's not.
I disagree with that. I disagree
one
with you.
glass of wine. Come on.
Give a glass of wine to a 12-year-old. Hey, give a glass of wine to a 12-year-old who has never had alcohol in their life and tell me that they are not almost immediately a different person.
But aren't you like a 200-year-old? Like
I am 98 years old, but she has the mentality of a 12-year-old. Do not deny that.
98 years old. You're like 5'10" or something. I don't know.
You're never too old to be a lightweight. All right. Good answers. That was an interesting question, but okay. So what do you think is making the noise at the end of this episode?
Tullen.
Tullen?
God, I hope it's Tullen.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to put into the world that it's Tullen, because then it will be Tullen.
Knowing Josh, it's probably like that dragon you saw flying. And it's like, oh, great, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I know you guys just had like 3 days straight of combat, but how's a 4th day sound? I think a 4th day sounds like fun.
It's like, you guys got a long rest. You're fine, right? You can fight a freaking dragon, right? Yeah, it's no problem.
You guys deserve a rest. Okay, so going back to the campfire, what other questions would you have liked to have asked during that?
Ooh.
I mean, one, that's when we got like a big open up from Cypher. I do wish we had dived a little more into that, like just really hammer it home. I mean, I think we got pretty much all the information, but I'm like, no, I want to know like names, locations. Like we didn't get like the gritty details. It's like, oh, he was a pirate, but like he got conscripted into that because he, I guess, lost a pirate's ship or something. I don't know. So like he owes this person a huge debt, and it's like, oh, okay, but who do you owe? Where are they? Can we just go murder them with Alejandra? She's pretty good at that.
See, and that's the funniest thing is like, okay, so up to this point, Alejandra has been Jaeger, Costo. Protecting between the two of them. Jaeger's 12 days old, Costo's got all this shit going on, right? But Cypher's like, I owe all of these people all this money now. And now Alejandra's like, so what you're saying is you are the new one I have to protect. Got it. And so I love that there was a little moment between Alejandra and Cypher where Cypher was literally like, please stop fucking body blocking for people. Like, you are a sorceress, stop doing this. And Alejandra was like, no, it's not gonna happen. Because like in Alejandra's head, she's like, you just told me you owe somebody 25,000 gold. Why in the world would I not body block for you or Costo or Kias or Leonard in this situation, or Jake, but he's a bear, so it's not like my little body's gonna fix it anyways. But like, why would I not body block for you when we have somebody coming after you for 25,000 gold? If I had another question that I would have liked to ask, I would have, if it was just Alejandra and Kias, I think that Alejandra probably would have like messaged him and been like, all right, I want to know why I helped you with this spell. But helping him with that spell did kind of bite Kias in the ass, because I do get like insight into him now more than the other people. So that's kind of cool.
He will 100% come to you for that again. Like,
I'm excited.
Guaranteed.
I am excited.
You're like, I don't want to say therapist, but like you're like the magical equivalent of a therapist for like if therapists
like a betazoid.
Okay, Alejandra is the mother of the entire party. This is the thing, and this is who I built her to be, okay? It's like, oh, Tullen, you've got dirt on your face. Cypher, did you clean your swords? Kias, stop being rude to your brothers. Like that's who Alejandra is. Genuinely. She's just, was it you that referred to her as a MILF? I feel like it was you that somebody referred to her as a MILF at one
Definitely
point. Because
did
I made
not
a
say
joke.
MILF.
I made a joke about her being the mom friend, and somebody was like, oh, MILF. And I was like, that's funny, but that's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah, mom friends rarely do those actually.
I'm thinking of when I think you asked if Leonard's mom was a MILF. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, that I might have done that.
I think that's what I was thinking of, actually. Redacted. I redact that retcon.
Leonard's stepdad over here.
Kias has never said MILF. That is for sure. That is.
I'm pretty confident you did.
No.
I'm pretty sure you did.
He's definitely not said MILF, but he probably has asked if Leonard's mom was hot. Like something like that he would say. He wouldn't say MILF. Man, this just has me really, because Alejandra.
Are you flustered all of a sudden?
No, not MILF. I'm back to me. Come on, like it's all about me. But no, because like I said earlier, Alejandra will 100% be the first to know more about the history of Kias, like where he comes from and all of that. So I'm really curious to see how she reacts when she kind of discovers all of this about Kias.
See, and that's the beautiful thing that I think came out of last session is, if you remember, Mickey, when Cypher told us that he was a pirate, Alejandro freaked out for like a split second, then was like, I just murdered somebody. Never mind. He's not a monster. I am. And sat back down. So it gives her no longer that pure sense of innocence. You know what I mean? So it's going to have her reacting differently to things than she used to.
Wow. Are you just assuming he has some sort of evil backstory?
100%. Shut up. 100%.
God,
You're deflecting calling Leonard a serial killer, which means Kia's is a serial killer.
No.
Don't even.
No. I do like that. Now I kind of wish his backstory was he's a serial killer.
Retconning his entire backstory right now.
I know, like race. And then he murdered all these people.
Yeah, and then he murdered Leonard's family, and these are actually his friends that can cast Disguise Self.
Oh, I love
If all these people came together because they were all serial killers.
How great would that be?
Trying to kill each other, and they ended
I
up
actually love that
having a
idea, just
family.
not Alejandra in that idea. I also don't love Cypher for that idea. Those are the only two characters that I don't. And Costo, I'll give Anthony that too. Kia's and Leonard and Kia's and Leonard and Tullen could be serial killers.
Man, I just want to drop like Kias's entire backstory like right now, like screw it coming out of game, just to be like, no, he's not a serial killer and he's not a bad guy.
Big bad evil guy. Josh at one point did tell me that he loves putting like the evil people that you don't know are the evil ones, and I'm not convinced that it's not you.
I'll show you his character sheet.
I don't want to see your character sheet. I want to be able to play through this properly.
Chaotic.
If I am allowed to make fun of Costa, I can make fun of you. Continue. Sorry, Emily.
No, that'll be very, very interesting to see how little bits and pieces of that backstory kind of come through the dialogue. Because I guess now we're on the edge of our seat waiting for that. Okay, we're almost done. Thank you guys. Just wanted to ask a couple of just kind of all-encompassing, where do you think your character is going to go next? How did this last session affect them? And technically, as in possibly a multi-classing way, is there any possibility of that, of their class changing?
Alejandra, no. I don't think. Are you gonna like straight up change your class, Mickey? I don't think so.
No. But I've said this to Josh actually, because obviously if you're going to multi-class, you want to talk to your DM and say that. I currently have no plans to multi-class. It's Warlock the whole way, Archfey Warlock the whole way. However, I have said, because I feel like there is a crossover there between the like wild magic of Alejandra Sorcerer and the Warlock, like the Nightfey Warlock, or Archfey Warlock. I have said that if like Alejandra magic surged in a way that, affected Kias, like if she fireballs and, knocks him unconscious, I would consider multi-classing into Sorcerer just for like a level or maybe two. But
I'm trying to avoid multi-classing. There's a reason I want her to multi-class, but I can't find a class that fits it. No matter how hard I try, there is nothing I can find. So I am trying to convince my lovely DM, who we all love and appreciate so much, to do this one thing that I have asked for. So I don't have a class.
I don't think she actually loves him. I think she's being facetious.
That's a big word.
Yeah,
That's
we're
a
practicing.
I don't like big words.
Practicing SAT words.
A lot of big words.
I don't like big words.
For the character himself, though, I don't know. From Mickey's standpoint, I am excited for the party to eventually end up in Kias's hometown.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay.
I know it is a city that we will end up in at some point. Like it's going to happen. Like ended up in Leonard City, which is close to Costo. Like it all ties together. So I'm excited for that to happen from a character standpoint. Spoiler, we're not headed in that direction right now. But
I genuinely low-key hope that you like secretly grew up in the orphanage that Alejandra worked at. I genuinely low-key hope that that's what that is. That would be good. That would be a good one. And if I just guessed it, I'm gonna be so happy. All right, Twitch, this is me documenting it now. If I guessed this, I get I told you
Clip
so
it.
rights in 100 sessions. Clip it for me. Do it.
Fantastic. Okay, very cool. And I'm going to bring back, because this was kind of Jaeger's last big hurrah, I'm going to bring back him and that topic one more time to ask, now that he is no longer in the party, how do you think the party is going to be able to fill in the gaps that he left behind, technically? Is there anything that's going to be really obviously missing?
I mean, one, like, I know he was playing a Rune Knight, which is fairly new class, but a lot of those like rune abilities are really awesome. We've seen them used a few times in the Fire Dome. Plug for the Fire Dome, third Thursday of every month, right here. But they're awesome. Those like runes are really like game changing and cool. That's just something you can't replace. That being said, I think Kies will probably actually have to use spell slots and do damage in combat.
Oh god, he has to try, guys.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I can see, because he, has his cane. I can see him like taking his cane and like pointing it like it was a crossbow and like pew pew, like I'm Jaeger now.
Here's the thing that I see missing from this. We lose a backline fighter. Because I'm not saying we lose all of backline. We lose one particular backline fighter. And the problem that I have with that is I'm playing a sorceress who is very much so not a backline fighter. So that's going to be quite the gap that needs to get filled. But at the same point, like I had already said, it produced such an opportunity for character growth afterwards that RP-wise, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for the first few sessions, but then I think we're going to catch up on it.
Yeah, I think RP-wise, it's honestly going to bring the party closer, because it's like, oh, crap, like we need each other even more so now. And we did have our nice fireside chat to get a little closer as well. So I think that it's really a catalyst moving the RP forward. And, in combat, we'll have to figure it out. I mean, we were already pretty shitty in combat anyways, so anything is going to be, like we just, all right, don't be so dumb.
Saying, but Tullen and Costo aren't part of the cool kids. They're not there. They weren't there
That's
for
true.
it. They're no longer part of the club. Sorry, y'all got booted to the outskirts.
Yeah, the Kies Club.
Gonna have to redeem themselves.
Okay, never mind. The club no longer exists. That club is dissolved immediately.
That's true. If you don't like Injusticars, then we could be the Kies crew. Yeah.
The crew-us. Fantastic. Okay. I wanted to ask you guys if you had any closing comments, anything that maybe we didn't get to that you wanted to talk about. Otherwise, I think we went into some pretty great detail for this one.
I just because I don't want Alejandra, or I don't want Braylon getting like such a big head thinking she guessed it. There was some comments in the chat that were very spot on towards Kies's backstory that I'm like, I am not even going to mention that these are there because they were very close, and I do not want to answer them.
Chat. I didn't read the chat to make that guess, so if that's the chat, if I make that guess, I am going to be so excited.
But
every time I read the chat because I have to look it that way. Just saying.
Mine's this way.
I would like to apologize to any of the fans that absolutely loved Jaeger. I really hope that this doesn't put a change on what you think of myself and the party as a whole. I hope that you respect Tim's decisions as a character for Jaeger. And Jaeger would have tried to kill us to learn about himself, and Alejandra wanted to protect her friends. So that's my closing comments. We love you guys. I hope to see you guys hang around for a very long time. Grow with our characters just like we are.
I have a closing question for Emily. Emily, when are we going to get your voiceover reel?
Yeah. I need to either get some gigs or just record some of my own stuff. Actually, I do have a podcast coming out in a couple of months. It's going to be a podcast of an all-female Hamlet, and I'm playing the ghost. So you'll be able to hear my creepy voice in that.
I like an all-female Hamlet.
Yeah, a few like non-binary people, but all non-male.
We have a running joke of the word soliloquy that was.
Oh God, no!
That was used
no more.
Very wrongly by Costo. And Hamlet has I think one of the best soliloquies that Shakespeare ever wrote, so that's such a great tie-in there.
I love it. It's also the longest play that Shakespeare ever wrote.
That's right, because it takes like 4.5 hours to perform it.
Probably. Yeah, I've never performed it all the way through, but we're recording in acts. So yeah. Very fun. So I'll let you guys know about that.
Yeah,
but
plug
that is
the
a
hell
goal
out
of mine.
Plug it.
Very cool. Okay. One more reminder for everybody to get their subs in before Sunday, because they're going to be drawing the subscribers for the monthly one shot. Yep. So make sure that if you are wanting to get a chance to do that, that you do that. This was super, super fun. We went into some amazing character detail. It was super fun to have you guys with each other because, again, your characters are such amazing counterparts.
Hey, you're below me on Twitch, so fist pound. You gotta go up.
Oh.
Yes, it's been fun. It has been wonderful. Thank you, Emily. Very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you guys. Okay, well, we have no further comments. I guess I'll say good night to all of our wonderful viewers and fans and everybody. And thank you for watching, and thank you guys for being awesome and loving your characters. And
we are nowhere near as awesome as you, Emily. We just strive to be as cool as you. Have
all for Faye presents.
Get out of here.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Thank you. Okay.
We'll see everybody on Sunday. I'm so excited.
Yeah. See you on
Have
Sunday.
a good night, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Are your potassium levels low? Ever wish you could become a banana? Well, head on down to the Botched Discord to become one of our lovely insiders. There, we treat all our bananas with the utmost respect, gossip about Kia's sleeping habits, participate in weekly events, and even win exclusive prizes. Want advantage on your rolls? Then make sure you hit the subscribe button. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to get botched.